Sewing of pants, Part 3. In the previous sessions, we learned how to sew the zipper, crotch seam, side seams, and darts. In this session, we will see how to sew the waistband, bottom hem, sew the buttons and buttonholes, and finally check the quality of the finished product. Next, we will see how to sew the waistband. For that, first prepare a straight binding piece. Enclose the inner seam allowance of the waistband with a bias piece. Now mark 1.5 inches from the cut edge. Fold the inner seam as shown here. Sew the underlap of the waistband as shown here. Then snip the corner of the seam and turn it to its right side. Ensure neat corners with the help of a small scissors. Snip at the end to open the fold. Place the outer waistband piece on the right side of the pants as shown here and sew. Sew and close the other end of the waistband as shown here. Wrap the waistband to the wrong side, hiding the seam allowances, and sew along the previous seam line. Thus we have finished sewing the waistband. Next, we will see how to sew the bottom hem. Fold the bottom hem 1 inch to the wrong side and sew. Again fold the bottom hem and sew and fix with a flat hemming stitch. Thus we have finished sewing the bottom hem. Finally, we need to make the buttonholes and sew the buttons to the waistband. Sew buttonholes at the overlap and underlap and sew the buttons. Thus we have finished sewing the pants. It is very important to verify the various aspects of quality of the finished product. So let's do a quality check to ensure that our pant is of good quality. Make sure the pocket line is continuous along the side seam line and there is no shift. The waistband line should be neat. Stitch lines at the zipper should be neat. The crotch line should be the center line. Check if the zipper is attached neatly. Make sure that no cut edges are visible. The hem line should be neat and should not be visible. Make sure that all the final measurements are right. In this session, we have learned how to sew the fabric pieces for a men's pant. Before we conclude, let's take a look at the key points involved in sewing of pants. Step 1. Sew the pockets. Step 2. Sew the inner leg seam with a French seam. Step 3. Attach the pockets to the leg pieces. Step 4. Sew the zipper. Step 5. Join the crotch seam. Step 6. Sew the side seam and close the darts. Step 7. Sew the waistband. Step 8. Sew the bottom hem. Step 9. Make the buttonholes and sew the buttons to the waistband. Step 10. Check the quality of the finished product. With that, we have come to the end of this session.